Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the next lecture in analog electronics. So, in this lecture, we are going to discuss multi-stage amplifier. We are already familiar with RC coupled amplifier. We will look into further details of RC coupled amplifier and also go through direct coupled amplifier. We are already familiar with the necessity of multi-stage amplifier from lecture number 10. So the gain of a single stage amplifier is not sufficient to build a practical electronic system. So the voltage level can be raised to desired level if we use more than one stage. So when the number of amplifier stages are used in succession, then it is called a multi-stage or a cascaded amplifier. So we have seen these three methods which are used to couple two stages. The first one, resistance capacitance coupling or RC coupling. Second one, direct coupling, and the third one is transformer coupling. So you are already familiar with this figure for resistance capacitance coupled amplifier. You have a coupling capacitor at the input, coupling capacitor at the output, then this bypass capacitor, and from the output of the first amplifier stage, the signal is given to the input of the next amplifier stage at this point, and we are taking the output at the second stage. So this is a two-stage amplifier. Now, so this amplifier stage is used when we are interested in amplifying AC signals of frequencies which are greater than 10 Hertz, because we are familiar with the frequency response. We have seen the frequency is decreasing, or sorry, the gain is decreasing below a particular frequency and above a particular frequency. So we prefer this for frequencies greater than 10 Hertz. Then it is most convenient and least expensive way to build a multi-stage amplifier. Then this is the most widely used method. So the signal which is developed across the collector resistance of the first stage is coupled. We have seen that. The coupling capacitors, the function is to block DC voltage of the first stage from reaching the base of the second stage. So the DC biasing of the next stage is not interfered with the previous stage. So that is avoided using the coupling capacitor. So this coupling capacitor is also known as blocking capacitor. Now the major drawback, as we have seen, some loss of signal voltage occurs due to the drop across the coupling capacitor. So this drop is pronounced when frequency of input signal is low. We have seen that. So that is ultimately causing a reduction in gain of the amplifier below a particular frequency. Now we are going to analyze a two-stage RC coupled amplifier in the mid-frequency range. The peculiarity of mid-frequency range is that in the frequency response the gain is almost constant during the mid-frequency range. So this is the mid-frequency range. So this is the cutoff frequency F1, F2. You are already familiar with the frequency response of an amplifier. So here we will calculate the mid-band voltage gain, bandwidth, and the input impedance and output impedance of the RC coupled amplifier. So for that, the AC equivalent of the two-stage RC coupled BJT amplifier, which we have seen just now, is drawn here. You can see R1 and R2 are the voltage divider resistors. You can see these are in parallel. Then the transistor, then RC1, and again after RC1 there is R1 and R2, which is the voltage divider bias arrangement for the next amplifier stage, then RC2 and RL. Okay, we have just redrawn the previous circuit as AC equivalent, where we shorted the DC sources to ground, and also the capacitors are considered as short circuit in the mid frequency range. Okay. Now BJTs are replaced by its approximate H parameter equivalent model, which is giving you this circuit, that is RB, which is R1 parallel to R2. You can draw it for yourself. We have neglected HOE parameter and HRE parameter. So this is the approximate analysis. You have HIE here. Then this is the base 1, B1 base of the first transistor. Then we have HFE IB1 and C1, the collector terminal of the first transistor, and RC1 here. Then what is RC1 seeing? From after RC1 we have again the input stage of the second amplifier. So RB is R1 parallel to R2, and you have the base current IB2 flowing into the second transistor. So this is the base terminal of the second transistor and the collector terminal of the second transistor, and you have the current source representation HFE IB2, okay, and RAC2 is the output. So we'll see one by one. For finding the overall gain of the two-stage amplifier, we should know the gain of the individual stages. So we are starting with the second stage, calculating the gain. So A2 is minus HFE RAC2 by HIE. What is RAC2? It is the AC load resistance for the second stage. It is RC2 parallel to RL. You can refer the circuit diagram. You have load resistance RL and the collector resistance RC2. The parallel combination will give you RAC2. So this is the output. You have RAC2. So A2 is minus HFE RAC2 by HIE of the second transistor. Okay. Now, for determining the gain of the first stage, let us have a closer look into what constitutes its AC load resistance. So the second stage, if you see, you can see you have RC1 parallel to RB. Sorry, the first stage. So the output you have RC1 parallel to RB parallel to HIE. Okay. So that is shown here. So the first stage, for the first stage we have the AC load RAC1 equal to RC1 parallel to RB parallel to HIE. So the voltage gain of the first stage will be A1 equal to minus HFE RAC1 by HIE. So what is ultimately the gain? Is a multiplication of A1 and A2. AVM is equal to A1 into A2. So what can you conclude? Here you should note that the voltage gain of the first stage A1 is always less than the voltage gain of A2 of the second stage, because RAC1 is very much reduced as the input impedance HIE is in parallel with RC1 and RB. This is HIE of the second transistor. We are considering both the transistors to be identical. So RC1 parallel to RB parallel to HIE, which is lower than the RAC2. Okay. Now this effect is called the loading effect in multi-stage amplifiers. So the gain is not simply the multiplication of the individual gain of the each stage. That is, if you consider each of these stages separately as A1 and A2, then it is not the multiplication. If suppose the gain of this transistor was 60 and suppose this amplifier part was 60, it is not simply 60 into 60, but this will be affected by this loading effect, because RC1 will be in parallel with RB and it is parallel with HIE. Okay. So you cannot simply multiply A1, A2. You have to find out A1, A2 separately. You cannot take them as equal. At the first stage, it will be lesser than the second stage. Okay. So this is known as loading effect in multi-stage amplifiers. The overall input impedance is simply the input impedance of the first stage. If the biasing resistors R1 and R2 are large compared to HIE, the overall impedance ZI is simply HIE. So at the input you can see you have R1, R2 connected in parallel, and this is in parallel with HIE. So this will give the input impedance. So you can consider it to be closer to HIE because these are larger values compared to HIE. Okay. Then similarly the output impedance of the amplifier is RAC2. Okay. Now, what are the advantages? The frequency response of RC amplifier provides constant gain over a wide frequency range, hence it is more suitable for audio applications. The circuit is simple and has lower cost because it employs resistors and capacitors which are cheap. It becomes more compact with the upgrading technology. Now, what are the disadvantages? They have low volt input of each stage, input of each stage to the preceding stage decreases the effective load resistance RAC and therefore lower gain. They have tendency to become noisy with age, particularly in moist climates, and impedance matching is poor because the output impedance of RC coupled amplifier is several hundred ohms, whereas input impedance of a speaker is only few ohms, hence little power will be transferred to the speaker. So there you need some other impedance matching circuits in between. Now the application is as voltage gain amplifier in the initial stages of public address systems. Now we can quickly go through an example where you have a two-stage RC coupled BJT amplifier. You have two stages here. Calculate the input impedance, output impedance and the voltage gain AVM. For both the transistors, HFE or beta equal to, HFE or beta is one and the same, equal to 120, Rin or HIE equal to 1.1 kilo ohm. So for this you can consider the equivalent circuit here. Okay. So in this equivalent circuit you can see RB equal to R1 parallel to R2. What is R1, R2 here? 56 and 5.6 kilo ohm. and HIE is also given in the question, 1.1 kilo ohm. Then you have the again the same circuit here in the second stage. You have R1 parallel to R2, okay, and the circuit is drawn here, HIE. You have shorted this capacitor is shorted, so this is short, and this capacitor is shorted, this is short. IC equivalent you have drawn, okay. Now how will you find out ZI? So what is coming in the parallel? ZI, here you have RB parallel to HIE. So what is ZI? This is a parallel combination of this 56K parallel to 5.6K parallel to 1.1K. What is 1.1? This is HIE. So this value you will get it as 0.905K, which is close to this 1.1K. So that is the input impedance of this two-stage, okay, amplifier. Now what about the output impedance? Output impedance is nothing but RAC2. What is RAC2? What is RAC2? From the previous figure you can see it is a parallel combination of this 2.2 kilo ohm and 3.3 kilo ohm, that is represented as RAC2 here. This is the parallel combination of RC parallel to RL. Okay, so that is 3.3K parallel to 2.2K. You will get it as 1.32 kilo ohm. Now for the computing the voltage gain, what do you need? First you have to find out what is A2. What is A2? It is HFE RAC2 divided by HIE. So HFE is given, or beta is given as minus 1 to, it is given as 120. So you have 120 into, what is RAC2? It is a parallel combination of 3.3 and 2.2. That is nothing but 1.32 divided by, what is HIE? 1.1 into 10 raised to 3. Here also you have 10 raised to 3. So you will get it A2 as minus 144. Okay. Now how will you find A1? A1 is minus HFE RAC1 by HIE. What is RAC1? When you have this is the parallel combination of you have RC1. What is RC1? RC1 is 6.8 kilo ohm, and you have the next 56K and you have the next 5.6K. So these are required. These are all in parallel if you consider the AC circuit. Okay, and then HIE. Okay, so that is shown here. So RC1 is RC1 value is 6.8 kilo ohm. Now you substitute it here to find RAC1. RAC1 is a parallel combination of 6.8, 56, 5.6 and 1.1, which you will get it as 0.798 kilo ohm. And HFE by HIE you can substitute, take the same value 120 and 1.1 into 10 raised to 3. You will get it as minus 87.05. So the overall gain will be minus 87.05 into minus 144, which is 12,535. You will get it as overall gain 12,535. Observe one thing, it is positive. That is, the first stage is giving a phase shift, that is given by this negative sign, and this signal is again given a phase shift by the second stage. So ultimately you get that 180 degree phase shift is avoided from the input to output, since you have even number of stages here. Okay. Next we will move on to direct coupling. So in certain applications the signals, voltage signals are of very low frequency. For that you can consider the example of a thermocouple, which is used for the measurement of furnace temperature in furnaces. So the voltage induced in the sensor or thermocouple is very small in magnitude and it is varying very slowly. So it is a low frequency signal which you can consider, which has to be amplified. So the amplifier used for the amplification of such slow varying signals make use of direct coupling. Because RC coupling you saw the disadvantage, because for a lower frequency the amplification, the gain is decreasing below a particular frequency. So in this type of coupling scheme, the output of one stage of amplifier is connected to the input of next stage by means of simple connecting wire. So for applications where the signal frequency is below 10 Hz, coupling capacitors and bypass capacitors cannot be used, as I just mentioned. So at low frequencies, the capacitors can no longer be treated as short circuit since they offer sufficiently high impedance. Now this is a figure of a two-stage direct coupled amplifier using BJT. You can see from the output of this stage there is direct connection to the input of the next stage. You can also see another figure which shows the circuit of a three-stage direct coupled amplifier which is using an NPN transistor, then a PNP transistor and again an NPN transistor. These are the two figures which you can find when you look for direct coupled amplifier. What is the peculiarity of this figure? You can see that here the from the collector of this terminal, from the collector terminal of this transistor, the output is connected to the input of a PNP transistor. So PNP transistor, the biasing is with opposite polarity, so the emitter is connected to plus VCC and the collector is connected to ground. So you can see from the collector again output is taken. So this is the collector resistance of this particular T2 transistor, and the output is taken to the given to T3 and directly connected. The output is taken across this terminal. So one of the disadvantages associated with this is that you can say there will be DC offset in the voltages, so biasing arrangement has to be adjusted for that. Now this is just explaining how the previous figure is working. In this way, the direct coupled amplifier raises the strength of the weak signal. So, and there is another serious drawback associated with the direct coupling. The transistor parameters like VB and beta will vary with temperature. So, this causes the collector current and voltage to change. So, because of the direct coupling, this voltage change appears at the final output. That is also another disadvantage. Such an unwanted change in output voltage which has no relationship with input voltage is called drift. So, the drift in direct coupled amplifier is a serious problem. Now, what are the advantages of direct coupled transistor amplifier? The circuit is simple because of minimum use of resistors. Cost is low because of the absence of expensive coupling devices. Then disadvantages are this amplifier cannot be used for amplifying high frequency signals. The operating point is shifted due to, we have just discussed, drift due to temperature variations. Now that is, this can introduce DC offset, so the compensation for that DC offset has to be provided when we measure the signal. So we have to compute the DC offset which can get introduced and make the adjustments when the signals are being taken read, because these are mainly used in sensors. Okay. So with this I am ending the discussion on RC coupled amplifier and direct coupled amplifier. We will discuss about transformer coupled amplifier in the next video. Thank you.